Welcome to Lethbridge, guys. It's frickin' freezing. You guys just had a recent trip to Afghanistan. How's this for contrast when it comes to weather?
Different color entirely.
Yeah.
Brown and sandy, white and snowy. That's about it. Other than that, in the active combat mission. Other than that, pretty much the same.
Tell me about your trip. You guys played for the troops. How awesome was that?
Without sounding, like it's an exaggeration, but it really is kind of a life-changing thing. I mean, we don't know when we live in a bus or van or whatever and go play rock shows. We don't have any idea what life is like, and to see what the people there do at the level they do it, just choosing to serve the way they do, it was pretty profound. We were there on Thanksgiving when they're all away from their families, and with Remembrance Day following just after that. It was heavy and dusty. See, my friend
still
here
has
they call it the calf.
With the black lung pops.
Let's talk really quick about how this band came together. I'm sure you guys have answered it a million times. I hate asking questions like this.
This is actually an original question. I like this one.
What do you think?
I'm sure it is.
Well,
Amir, you can actually take a lot of credit for this.
Back in '87. I just thought it'd be cool to play in a band with these guys because I respect them very much as musicians and the glory they've each enjoyed over the many years that they've been doing this, and it just kind of happened, and it really, the moment that it did, I was kind of confused. I'm like, really? Really? This is so weird. And it was really cool. I mean, I was supposed to write with Edwin for his next album, solo album, and then I thought, it'd be cooler if you just started a band, and I kind of asked him, and it was really awkward. Kind of like that grade 8 girl you want to ask her, do you want to date with me? It was like that, and he was kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to be in a band with anybody ever again. And I just kind of said, yeah, we'll get Burroughs and Mike, and that'd be really cool. Even though I hadn't really spoken to them at all at that point. But he was
had you in mind, at least.
And he was like, really? I'm like, yeah, really, wouldn't it be cool? And he's like, yeah, I guess that would be cool. So then I knew Mike, because Mike had produced my other band, Zygote's last album, The Nature of Resilience. So,
Get it online.
Yeah, get it online. And so I knew Mike, and we had gone along, very well. And I thought, you have a minute to talk? He's like, yeah, I went down to the studio, Pocket Studios in Toronto, Ontario.
ThePocketStudios.com.
Fun. And I said, hey, you want to be in a band? And he's like, no, absolutely not, man. What's going on? What are you talking about? I'm like, no, you misunderstood. I'm going to be in the band. He's like, oh, yeah, still no, not really. I told him, I was thinking it'd be cool if Edwin was saying, we got the coolest drummer on planet Earth to play, Jeff Burroughs, and he was like, oh, again, I didn't really tell him I hadn't spoken to Jeff yet, or ever before, to be honest with you. And he's like, well, I'll think about it. I was like, cool. Then I flew straight to Jeff's old management place. I was friends with Andy Curran, who also produced the Zygote album, coincidentally. And I'm like, do you know Burroughs? He's like, yeah, I do. I'm like, can you please call him and see if he wants to be in a band? I was thinking of Evan and Mike. We're going to be in this band, I'll play bass. And next thing you know, I came out of a dentist's office and I had a conversation with Jeff, and he thought I was
Challenged.
Because my mouth was all, yeah, man, be really cool for a band, And anyways,
Nice. Okay.
Thankfully he met with us and realized that I was challenged, but in a cool way.
After the Novocaine wore
Yeah,
off,
exactly.
everything was fun. That's awesome. So how was it in the studio? I mean, technically, it's four different bands coming together, 4 different ways to make music. How did it work with you guys?
It was really simple because we're all pretty darn comfortable in our own skin, and so it works 2 ways. One, we're comfortable enough to throw out an idea, even if it's not necessarily fully developed, or take criticism by the same tone. You know what I mean? So, Amir had a whole bunch of, songs and ideas, and didn't get, precious about I guess because we had a good relationship early on, none of us felt, on tiptoes to say, I don't really dig the chorus. There's none of that, I was thinking that maybe kind of the chorus could, we just like, dude, I don't really feel the chorus. And Amir's like, cool, what do you want to do instead? So,
It was actually more like, dude, this is the worst chorus I've ever heard in my life. Are you, absolutely insane? I'm so sorry, guys.
Back to the challenge.
I got something else, guys.
We beat him horribly. No, but I mean, we're all, I'm big fans of these guys. So working the producer side was a lot of fun because great producers work with great artists. These guys can all play their ass off. You come up with any suggestion, they internalize it and execute it. And it was really, other than the fact that Amir was in Australia and Jeff was in Windsor, and it's kind of hard to pin it down at the best of times, it was a really easy process once we actually were in the same room together.
Yeah.
So,
Were you Jeff, were you hesitant to start something new after? I mean, you were in the Tea Party, and then Jeff Martin went solo, and were you a little scared?
Yeah, it wasn't the first time that I asked to be involved in something. As a matter of fact, I mean, it was probably the 4th or 5th different opportunity, and I was let down on a couple of them, and I was getting a little, shy about getting into something else, and I had now gotten into radio, and I was probably 2 years into it at that point. So I was a little skeptical at first, and like Amir said, I spoke to Andy, and I mean, I'd known Mike and Edwin for quite a while, and we were the best of buds because living in opposite towns. But once we got going into it, I think everyone got very excited because it was very.
Are you guys holding hands right now?
It was very comfortable. It's become a little too comfortable.
I was just gonna say, it's getting a little wavy.
So sweet.
They're hugging.
Oh, they're hugging it. Oh.
I just thought it'd be funny in mid-sentence to just hold his hand and totally collapse.
That's the challenge.
All right. Okay, Mike, you and me next.
Okay, no, I'm English. We don't touch.
He's English. Look at his lips.
Look at this.
He's got a lip.
Don't mock the lack of a lip.
Tell me about being in radio, Jeff. I actually worked for 95 The Rock in Chatham.
You did?
Yeah. Before I came.
So with
before
Dave
I came here.
Lockbaum?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, can you say hi to Dave?
Yeah, I will. Hi, Dave.
I mean, no.
Oh, okay.
No. But yeah, so how do you like being behind the mic? Is it a different challenge from actually being played on the radio to talking about other bands and
The first year was very challenging, but then I got more and more comfortable in my own skin on radio, and just like you said, being on the other side of things, you really learned a lot about the business side of things. I mean, radio for me was an opportunity to become a part of the community or reapproach, because at that time, even 4 years ago, it seemed like everyone was worried satellite radio was taking over, and I always really thought satellite radio had its benefits, but I really love the community aspect of local rock radio stations. I mean, you're in touch with each personality, you enjoy each person's persona on air, you get to meet them while they're out and about doing, whatever they're doing. So for me, it was like I said, a little challenging at first. Now it's a piece of cake, and they're so good to me to let me, head on out, and they're good to the band as a whole, so, it's a great time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very good.